Making the buzz, the criminal best known as the Barefoot Bandit has signed a movie deal worth $1.3 million. Colton Harris Moore made headlines during a crime spree in which he stole planes, boats, and cars. Despite the big movie deal, the Barefoot Bandit says he will not be getting the money. That money will be used to help pay the $1.4 million he owes in restitution to his victims. Harris Moore says that was the only way he would sign the deal. So what are your thoughts? Is this movie deal the best way to repay the victims?
Well, the problem is otherwise there might not be any money to repay the victims.
Right.
So, you know, it may be the only way to figure out money to repay the victims.
But it's also just an example of bigger things that are happening. I mean, in this case, they're going to give the money back to the victims, but there's a lot of other cases where criminals get deals about what they did, and the money doesn't go to the victims.
Right,
I mean,
right.
we're talking about a lot of people that have already done this, or even in the case of Casey Anthony, where she wasn't found guilty, but people are still outraged at the fact that she could be profiting off of the death of her daughter. So
Right.
it raises a bigger issue.
Yeah, and you know, and as far as movies go, I mean, I don't know if this is one of the sexiest stories out there. I mean, there's a lot of other criminals, like you alluded to, Amber, that are going to be confronted and have been confronted in prison to say, hey, we want to tell your story. And in this case, it's going to the victims, but it doesn't always do that. And that's where their outrage is coming
So
in.
in this particular case, though, as long as he does not benefit from this, as long as he doesn't get any money, I'm fine with it. The victims will get restitution. But let's get right to what you're saying, because that's what this show is all about, right?
Yeah, Sandy Overman says, as long as he doesn't see any of it, I think that should absolutely go to the victims.
And Jennifer Creasy Turner, it will probably be the only way that the victims will ever receive the money. So I say it's a good idea.
Denise Magic writes, the victims should be the ones answering this question. At least he is not making money doing this.
Herman Mercado says any money made should go to the victims of his crimes. And, you know, when the manhunt was on, this was a very hot story. There was a lot of interest in it, how he got away with what he did with, you know, for as long as he did.
Right, because he was young, and that kind of was intriguing as well. But again, in this particular case, I think because he's not directly benefiting, but it's just the eeriness, I guess, that moviegoers would even think about doing that for those who maybe are in a different situation.